Hello everybody, welcome back to AutoX, and let me present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the all-new Triumph Tiger 900. Now I've already ridden the bike in Morocco at the International Press Ride beginning of this year, and I came back very impressed with it. It definitely is a lot better than the old Tiger 800. Now I've also got with me today the BMW 850 GS Adventure, and that's because this is the best-selling model in this segment, and of course the direct competitor to this bike. And I've also brought along with me Shivank, who is a hardcore off-road enthusiast. Although he's an amateur rider, I'm more of an intermediate level. So I've got him along with me to ride these beautiful bikes and just discuss them and see which one performs better on the road, off the road, and as an all-round product. So yesterday, Shivank, you were telling me that straight off the bat, when you were riding these two bikes together on the road, that this one was much more comfortable.
So yeah, I mean, I first rode this bike, and of course we'll talk about all the new bits later on. But comfort-wise, I thought this was a little more aggressive. I mean, the whole riding posture is a little forward biased, and the refinement of the engine, I mean, that is much more refined. I mean, when I was riding it on the highway, I felt the refinement, the comfort of that motorcycle, it really comes together. This, once you rev it past 4,000 RPM, I guess this is a little gruff, and it's not as refined as it used to be. So comfort-wise on the road, I'm really surprised by the GS because I prefer that motorcycle over this.
Yeah, I have to agree with Shivank. The plush feeling you get from the BMW is a lot better than the Tiger 900. And also this Adventure comes standard with a seat which is a lot more comfortable, and overall the ergonomics are a lot more friendlier because it's just more roomy. The engine also, even though that's a triple and this is a twin, it's a very, very refined engine, and it's just amazing for long distance touring. Absolutely beautiful. But I have to also mention, even though it's a more of an aggressive stance in here, a lot of riders will like that about the Tiger. Sure, it is comfortable. We're not saying it's not comfortable. It is comfortable. Just a little bit of the ergonomics have changed compared to the old Tiger 800. The handlebars are now a little bit more forward. The pegs can be adjusted however to wherever you want. And even the seat height can be adjusted on this. So yeah, obviously you can adjust the feeling of the bike towards your riding needs. But definitely the overall quality, ride quality, engine refinement, the torque delivery from this engine on the road is much better. Now coming to this new engine, I have to say this engine is a lot better than the 800 Tiger for sure. What did you feel about this bike when you rode it compared to the older one? I know we both have done a lot of miles on the 800. So what do you think about this new engine?
So I think this has completely changed the character of the bike, because earlier it used to be an same inline 3 engine, but this they have changed the firing order, and now it has more grunt lowdown. So the old Tiger 800, when I first rode that bike, the first thing I noticed was lowdown. It had nothing. You really had to rev the nuts of that engine. I didn't really quite like it because it wasn't that kind of
Wow,
nature.
you didid like the Tiger 800. Wow, okay,
So no,
I loved it.
I thought the nature of the engine was more suited for a super sport, like let's say the RS or those bikes, not on the Tiger. So I really felt in that regard the 850 GS, when you first rode the 850, that had more grunt, that had more torque lowdown, and it felt overall in all sort of riding conditions, I felt that was a better engine. Of course the Tiger 800, that used to make a sweeter noise, but I think this feels more like a twin now, like big Ducati twins. This is how this engine feels. So I think they have added a lot more grunt, and definitely it's a very strong engine.
Yeah, it's also a much more versatile engine. It gets 6 rider modes with the Rally Pro, which we've got here, whereas this gets only 4. There is an optional Enduro Pro mode in this, which we do not have with us, but the Enduro mode is still there. This gets 6 different riding modes, including Off-Road and Off-Road Pro. So definitely, in terms of technology and the features you get from this bike, certainly are better. That's because it's a new bike as well. It was just launched. This is now about 2 or 3 years old in the country. Technology-wise, stacked with all kinds of features. You can connect your phone, even your GoPro, you can connect to it and control it from the bike itself. So really a future-forward-looking Tiger 900 we have here. But I also want to talk about the handling of this bike compared to this. On the road, this 850 GS, the standard bike, handled really well. Because this one is a lot heavier. This is 240 kilograms.
That's 15
because
kilograms
it's
more
so
than
wide and so big at the front. It doesn't handle as well as this does. And this one, the Tiger 900 is now lighter. It's 220 kilograms, which is 20 kilograms lighter than this one. And overall, even the front end, you get a lot more feel from it. The suspension travel also is a lot more when you're going off-roading. This, of course, gets electronic suspension. This does not get electronic suspension. Only the GT model of the Tiger 900 gets electronic suspension, but you can adjust it here. The front suspension cannot be adjusted on this bike,
Yeah,
which is very weird considering it's a 15 lakh motorcycle.
Yeah.
This can be
considering,
adjusted,
let's say we are two different riders. You weigh
Exactly.
different, and I'm much lighter.
Yeah.
No offense, but still. So that's the thing. I mean, I probably when I buy that bike, so I'd want to adjust the suspension when I do a lot of off-roading. So I'd want to tune that up, and that is really a miss on that bike.
Yes,
In
for sure.
fact, the entire GS range, the middleweight range,
Yeah.
they don't have adjustable suspension.
Yeah.
And the electronic suspension, again, it's only on the rear wheel.
Yeah.
Plus, I also feel the Enduro Pro, I mean, there's an adventure bike and this feature
Yeah,
is missing. I
it
mean,
should
it's
have
optional
the
extra.
Enduro.
It should have been standard because you can't lock the rear wheel. You can't get the ABS off that rear wheel.
Yeah.
So I feel overall there are a lot of things missing which people would prefer while going off-road. But in that regard, the Tiger, it's an overall a well-packaged motorcycle. You
Good
get
all-rounder.
everything for the road,
Exactly.
for off-road. So it's an overall more formidable package.
Yeah. So coming to off-roading now, so when I rode the bike in Morocco, I was given proper off-road tires. And when I rode this bike at the GS Trophy, I was also given proper off-road tires. So this is the first time we're riding both these bikes with stock tires on. And we've done a little bit of trail riding today, nothing too serious, but some nice, fun, fast trails. The bikes both handle and perform very well. Obviously, you need a little bit more muscle to move this one around because of the weight. In fact, Shivank didn't want to ride this bike at all. He said, no, Jared, you say on this, you say on that. Okay, fine, I want to ride the Tiger. You can have the Tiger. But the Tiger is a very forgiving motorcycle. The chassis is absolutely brilliant on this bike. The rear end just comes out whenever it feels like it without you even wanting it to. So the ride-by-wire throttle is absolutely amazing on this motorcycle. So again, overall, this bike definitely performs really nice. The handling is absolutely amazing. It's got a narrow frame. You can keep your legs tightly around the fuel tank. Just the way it just feels. The suspension travel again plays a big part in that when you're going on really big dips and jumps. The Triumph Tiger 900 really feels like it belongs off-road, whereas this, even though it performs very well, you just have to get a little bit more used to the way this bike feels because it's so big and wide. But again, honestly, what do you think, Shivank? Because I know you didn't like this at all. But for a beginner, someone who's an amateur rider, I think they would obviously lean more towards the Tiger 900.
Yeah, definitely,
sure.
because see, the adventure, the problem with that bike, first they have given it the comfort seat as standard.
Yeah.
So the height, it's very tall. It's a very tall bike. So I'm 5'9". I can't really flat foot this motorcycle. And if you're going off-road, that's going to happen. Sometime you'll have to brake and the ground will be uneven. So that time you can't handle this motorcycle. You won't handle that weight. You can't lift this bike up because it's too heavy. It's nearly as heavy as the 1250 GS. So in that regard, I think, of course, I wouldn't want to take it off-road. But if I have to ride it just on the road and light trail riding, no undulations, I think probably the GS is still a very great motorcycle. But overall, I'd say chuck the adventure version. I'll go for the standard F850 GS. That was the bike that we both loved. We went for long distance riding, and that was the motorcycle we absolutely loved because it's manageable on the track. You can put your knee down, and that's the motorcycle that you want. It's an all-rounder of sorts, and the Tiger is that in that regard because it is slightly better than the 850, the standard 850 GS as well. It does everything in a slightly more better way. So overall, I think the main competitor for this bike, I think adventure version is again too hardcore for me, too bulky.
Well, I also have to mention here that Shivank has not ridden the GT variant of this bike, and that bike is beautiful on the road. I know we both were discussing how the F850 standard was amazing when it handles, but you have to ride the new GT model if you want to stick to just road riding. The benefits of the Adventure and the Rally Pro here is that you can go on long distance touring. And go through all kinds of road surfaces, of course. This has got a 23-liter fuel tank, so you can cruise for miles and miles before refueling and not worrying about what the fuel is like. That's got a 20-liter fuel tank, which is big enough for all kinds of touring as well. But again, if you are that kind of a rider who wants a more comfortable ride and you're not doing a lot of off-roading, you don't have the fitness levels to do hardcore off-roading, this is a very, very, very nice motorcycle. If you are a little bit more of a wild child, if you want a more versatile bike that can do almost anything on the road and do some pretty decent off-roading, I wouldn't say hardcore off-roading. Again, these bikes both are not hardcore off-roaders, but this bike right here is the perfect all-rounder for sure. I have to mention that. Everything about the engine, the way the chassis performs, the handling, the brakes, the technology you get on this bike, far outweighs what you get here. The only benefit here is, I think this bike looks better too, by the way.
Yeah,
The new Tiger is a little bit basic, but this bike looks amazing. So basically, what you're paying for, 15 lakh rupees around ex-showroom for both these bikes, are both priced the same. This is a much better package right now.
Yeah.
It's a new model. This one, I think obviously the BMW brand itself says so much about the bike.
Definitely.
I mean, it's a BMW, right? So
Yeah.
people have that in their head. But, you know, honestly, if I was 5 years younger, I would probably go for the Tiger 100.
Yeah.
But since I'm getting old now,
Yeah.
and I have back problems and I don't do the kind of hardcore off-roading that I used to, I think that this machine right here still offers you the perfect package for long distance touring and hitting the trails every now and then.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So same thing. I mean, see, I think I prefer the Tiger 900 overall. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a better bike
Yeah.
overall. When you're spending that kind of money, so you want the newer bike, the newer
Yeah.
tech, and everything you want in your motorcycle. The BMW misses out on that.
Yeah.
But one thing that really matters here is how the GS makes me feel. I kind of connect with that motorcycle, not this one.
Yeah.
I connect with the
Got it,
old
yeah.
F850 GS.
Yeah.
This is regular version, not the old one.
And this is the BS4 variant, by
Yeah.
the way, which we have with us.
So the
this is
BS6 will come later
yeah.
on. So I think the way the GS motorcycle, the BMW bikes, they have something
Yeah.
special, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Tiger is also
Yeah.
a phenomenal motorcycle.
Yeah.
But I think how a motorcycle makes me feel, I think I like the 850 GS. Despite the fact that the Tiger is packed to the brim, the engine is definitely more grunty, but I somehow feel I connect to the GS a little more. But overall, as a product, the Tiger hands down wins it. I guess.
There you guys go.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Yeah.
we've come to a conclusion. That is the better motorcycle as an overall package, but we both still prefer this one.
Yeah.
Actually, he prefers the standard version of this.
I
but
prefer the
anyway,
standard
so
because
yeah.
you can't ride it off-road
So yeah.
with that kind of height.
So there you guys go. That is our very brief and concise review about the new Tiger 900 Rally Pro with the best-selling model in the segment. So I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want a full in-depth review of both these bikes, you can always go to autoX.com.